Welcome back to the Building Confidence podcast, where I, your host, Louise as a party, share what I've learned through the years, through the tears, so you don't have to. This episode, we are going to be asking the question, do you have a life outside of work? This is episode 116, and this episode is supported by Middies, and I'll talk a little bit more about them later on. Now, do you have a life outside of work? I know sometimes I don't have a life outside of work, and this recently come up from one of my coaching clients. So we were talking, she's had a whole heap of stuff happen at work. Thing after thing after thing after thing. Yes. The bullying, harassment, just people being wankers, all that kind of stuff. She's taken action. She's a smart human. She was taking a lot of action before we even started working together. We did some more action, and it's now exit strategy time. She looked exhausted, and I just happened to ask her, and thinking about it, I wanted to check in. I said, do you do much outside of work? What do you do for yourself? She's like, honestly, nothing. She works a rotating roster, so I think it's five days, 5 nights, and 5 R&R, so 5 rest days. And she's like, when I'm on my R&R, I don't feel like I want to do anything. It's an effort to get out of bed, and the only way that it feels good to get out of bed is to go from the bed to the couch. And I can relate to that. I've been in that position before. I said to her, I wanted to check in with her because, people, I don't know her whole life story. So I asked, and I ask you as well, if you answered no to do you have a life outside of work or do you do anything for yourself? What did you used to do for yourself? And she kind of perked up when I asked her this. And she was saying gardening, gym, walks, nice dinners, experimenting with cooking. Like, she had a whole list. And I said, what's stopping you from bringing them in now? And she's like, I don't have any energy. After being in this like fight, flight, or freeze all the time at work, I don't have this constant state of stress at work. I come home and I don't feel like doing anything. And we had a chat about this because when we are in a state of stress at work and work is not giving us any joy, then we have to find that joy elsewhere. And sometimes it's an effort to pull ourselves out of the state that we've been in at work, whether it has been stressed, anxious, over it, if you're in the fight with people being respected, you're trying to stand up for yourself all the time. When you get home, it can feel like such an effort to go to the gym, go for a walk, call a friend. Sometimes you're kind of in that down mood so much that you're like, I don't want this to go off onto my friends. Like, I'm just being miserable. But we need to do these things. We need to pull ourselves out and go into the garden. Because sometimes your workplace is taking from you. It's taking your time, your energy, your digging into your mental health if you're not being respected. But we don't want to let work, a negative workplace, take away from our overall life enjoyment. Because we were in this lack of motivation, and she's like, it would be really nice to do these things again, but I just don't feel it. I don't have the motivation. And that's what we went to. She was a bit stuck, and I suggested, how about you think, this workplace has taken this. Don't let it take from you your health. Don't let it take from you your joy. And I asked her, does that sound like it would be a good motivation? And she's like, I think that will get me moving. I'm not letting this workplace take anything else from me. I'm going to go and get that back for myself. And you can go and get that back for yourself. If you feel like work has taken everything from you and you don't have that motivation or that energy to kind of break that cycle, it's hard. I totally get it. It's hard to get yourself moving. But don't let work take anything else away from you. if it's your workplace, if it's a family member, like this can go into any aspect of your life. Sometimes when you have a dark cloud over one area of your life, like a super dark cloud over your work, over your family, over a relationship, over something that's happened, over your finances, it's really easy to let that dark cloud spread into other aspects of our lives. And usually that's what happens if you are not consciously aware of what's going on. So I want you to bring awareness back to that. I want you to ask yourself, do I have a life outside of work? Do I do things that bring me joy? Now, for me personally, I love to go to dancing. I do Lyra, which is the circus hoop that like hangs from the ceiling. That is my current hobby. I love to just go out in the sun and go for a walk. I've got two of my really good friends are stay-at-home mums. I try and go over there and hang out. Like, there are things that bring me joy. We went go-karting today with my family. I love that. That is the best fun. But when I'm stuck, it can feel really hard to become unstuck. It just feels like there's no point. But there is a point. There is a point. You are here on this earth, whether you believe there's a reason behind it or not, you are here. We are here on this earth. You need to give something to yourself. You need to take a minute for you. And sometimes, when you're in that really dark place and no motivation, sometimes a minute is all we can convince ourselves to do. Stay in the shower a bit extra. Order your favorite Uber Eats. Get something to keep you going. And I did a podcast on this, and I actually haven't spoken about this for quite a while, so I might bring it up again. But doing things that make you feel 1% better. Just 1% better. That's all it needs to be. Sometimes for me, that looks like going from watching Netflix in bed to actually watching Netflix outside. And then when I'm outside, once a whole, that sounds sometimes how big of a hole I get myself into. I'm like, I'll just finish this next season of whatever it is. But going from like finishing an episode, I'm outside. Okay, let's go for a walk outside. Those things can kind of create momentum to get you back and doing things for yourself. All right, you are not ruining anyone's day if you call them and ask for some help. Hey, I'm in a hole. Can you come and, grab some groceries on the way, and can you come hang out with me? Like, hey, are you free? Can we go coffee? Can we go walk? Whatever. You're not putting anyone down from that. All right? Don't let a negative workplace take away your joy. Go and get that. All right. That's all I have to say for this episode. I have a lot to say all the time, but anyway. But about this topic, make sure you're asking yourself the question, do you have a life outside of work? What do you do that brings you joy? And start to bring it. If you're at a point of exhaustion, start to bring it in 1% at a time. All right? Use the motivator. If it works for you, use that motivator of I'm not letting this workplace take my joy, my energy, my health, whatever it is. Use that to get you moving. All right. So the sponsor of this episode is Middies. So Middies are the women's bamboo boxer shorts or boxer underwear, and I love them. I love them. I only have things on this podcast as sponsors that I love, and I do love Middies. If you're in the area or if you're looking for new underwear, I would go and grab a few pairs of those. I have a discount code in the description below. I believe it's Louise10, but use that link. You'll also be supporting the podcast as you do this. Grab them. They're perfect for wearing under work pants. I live in them. Anyway, so go and grab those. And if you need any help or support with anything that we talked about today and you think I am the coach for you, please send me a message. You can contact me through my website, or you can follow me on LinkedIn at Louise as a Party, or Instagram at Louise as a Party Coaching. If you got any value out of this episode, please leave a comment, or share on your social media. I would really, really appreciate that. And as always, if you don't believe in yourself right now, please borrow my belief in you. I know you can do anything that you put your mind to. You might need to take a nap or have a snack first, but I know you can do it. I'll see you next week.